Welcome back, you guys. Welcome to part 2, episode 2 of the Evo X rebuild or Quest to Horsepower. We got it obviously out of the vehicle now. We're going to raise it up on the engine hoist and we're going to get this clutch off and we're going to get it on the engine stand so we can start ripping this engine apart. Let's get to it. I'm ready. I guess you should do it. I have to wait here. Do you see that? That is why you don't launch a stock car and on a stock clutch. Look at the freaking marks in that. I was kind of wondering. She is slipping pretty good. So, all right, let's get this flywheel off. Get it on the engine stand. Let's see what size this is. Alright, so we got our engine stand, our bracket mocked up here. Everything fits. We gotta take off the rear main seal before we do all that. Just easier. Don't feel like trying to get in between there while we have it on the engine stand. So we'll just pull it off now. We can finally get it on the engine stand and get it stripped down. These things, super nice to have, especially when you have parts all over the place. So the parts, keep them organized. You don't lose them, they don't fly across the shop. If you want problems, buy a cheap freaking engine stand. But we're going to fix it with a hammer, of course. Engine's on the engine stand. Start ripping this engine down. Alright, first we're going to start taking off some of the accessory stuff. We're going to take off the bracket, all the pulleys. We're going to get to the harmonic balancer, the engine mount, and we're going to pull the water pump off. And then after that we're going to get to the valve cover. We're going to get to the timing chains and stuff, so we can start pulling all that stuff apart. Let's get to it. You got a turbo flutter? It's going to help me out because the process is going to be a little longer than normal, which later on you guys will find out why. I'm putting all the bolts kind of back where they are. I'm labeling things. That way I don't get everything mixed up. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to put a motor back together without knowing where the parts are and or all the bolts go, and you know, and you guessing here and there. So I'm just gonna kind of put things, thread them back in the holes they came from, and that saves me a lot of time. Now we are going to take off the valve cover and get towards the timing chain side. Start taking off the timing chains. Actually, we need a water pump here. Chains. Finally, after saying it so many times, we're going to go to the valve cover. Get this valve cover off. You know, it's kind of a shame. It's only got, what, 35,000 miles on it? It's kind of a shame, but you know what? I bought it to daily drive it, ended up doing race car stuff. I'm still happy about it.
Is that what you told your girlfriend was gonna stay stuck?
Of course I didn't. Any man should do the same. Gotta have a way to get it. And then you just force them and say that you're only doing a little bit bigger turbo, and that's it. And then when their guard's down, bam! Just go all out. Change plans. I'm stupid. So we're gonna pull. We're gonna put the oil pan before we pull that timing over. There's bolts on the bottom. It's just gonna be easier to turn it over. At least I think on this. Got semi flipped over here. This is as far as it needs to go. Pull this bracket off and get the pan taken off. And then we can get that timer. Oil pan off. Oh, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we're doing this, actually. Look at what I just found. So, my car was in an accident, and I noticed that you can see it without dumping oil all over there. This is all kind of dented in. I was just going to get a new oil pan, but if you look down in here, right here, see that mark? That's from the oil pickup tube, which I'm actually surprised that nothing happened with that engine. Also, that chain wore almost a hole through it. I'm surprised I didn't have any oiling issues, actually. I'm very surprised. So it's probably a good thing that we're ripping this down. So that's gonna be in the trash. So now we're gonna turn this back over. Which will be fun because this thing's got. Now?
Speak.
I'm just kidding. So now we're gonna get to this front cover finally. Pull all the 10 mils off, pull all these 12 mils. Try and be gentle with this, so don't break nothing. Lucky there. Timing covers off. Everything looks good. I'll be able to reuse that. All right. Now we're to the timing chains. Get these timing chains off. Spring on that one. There's a spring in here, and when I set it up, it goes on this dowel. Keeps tension in the chain. There's no hydraulic tensioner like this right here. So I'm not really sure how to get this level chain off, but I'm gonna guess I'll just pull pump off. Should be easier. I don't know if that's the correct way or not. That's how I'm gonna do it. Shoot 3 bolts. Just get rid of here. Some dowel pins that it sits on. There we go. Oh, that's right off. Alright. Now that we've got all the chains off, oil pump chain, and all the guides, we're going to get to these cams here that we're going to get. Well, I guess actually we don't even have to take the cam gears off. We'll just take the caps off. So get on that. Get that apart. And we'll get to our studs, our bolts for our head. Pull the head bolts out, separate that, and then after that we'll get the pistons out, we'll get the pistons and rods out, and we'll separate the half case and get the crank out. Cam caps are 10 millimeter. These are a 12. One thing that's super nice I've noticed about these engines is when you're taking your cam caps off, you always want to have your cam caps the same place they came off because they're machined all together. With this engine, it literally will tell you right here, it'll tell you I1 intake 1, intake 2, intake 3, intake 4, and then you come over here and it says it gets you your exhaust, and it even gives you an arrow pointing into the direction they should be in case you were to, you know, mix them up or set them somewhere to where they can be mixed up. Lay out all these. Alright, so I'm going to suck out a little bit more oil. But something. Alright, now that I get the cams out of the way, I can get down to my head studs here. I'm going to have to find a tool to fit that. So that's pretty much all we had time for today. We're gonna come back tomorrow, and we're gonna go and do a part 3. We're gonna make a tool to fit. I'll show you guys all that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to go back and view video 1 of our build. It's linked to the top of the description, or the top of the screen here. So that's all for today. You guys have a great night, and I will see you next time.